American women are whores. Western women are whores. Feminism. Foreign women are better. Brazil, they Russia, don't want a good working man like Philippines. Western women just want sexy clowns. They want Chad. American Lotus Blossom. Shad and Tyrone. Western women just want sexy clowns. They want Chad. They don't want a good working man like me. Ah, this shit again. Yeah, people, this is a really big pet peeve of mine. So much so that I wrote a Return of Kings article on it under a different name. But yeah, the title of this video is my original title, and I still think it's better. I mean exactly what I say. If you can't get laid in America, you're not going to get laid anywhere else. Now, as somebody who has gotten a few foreign flags, mainly from emigres, tourists, and exchange students, I'm not going to tell you that you shouldn't think locally and fuck globally, in the immortal words of Eugene Hutz. Having sex with exotic women is a rollicking good time, and I recommend doing it. But what I am going to say is that there is no pussy paradise out there, some magical land where all the women are thin, beautiful, and want your cock. If you can't get laid in America, if you constantly whine about Ameriskanks and whores and feminism, yeah, you're probably not going to get any in some other country. Sorry to break that to you. I think this tweet says it better than anything else. If you're a big fat slob with man titties and no interest beyond masturbation and video games, you really don't have any business complaining about American women because you are not a man worth having. Now, I'm not going to say that there are no problems with American women. Far from it. American women, and Western women on the whole, undoubtedly have many problems. They have unrealistic expectations and entitlements in the dating market. American culture often goes out of its way to encourage women to make themselves look as ugly as possible. And let's not forget the fatness. But, as I have said in articles such as this one, I feel that some of the dissident right's concerns with this benighted set of womanhood are rather histrionic. Most of the women that I've slept with, and pretty much all the women I've had long-term relationships with, were either born in the United States or lived here for many years. And I have never once had an American girl in my life that acted like the stereotypical feminist hag screaming about how the kitchen is a prison. No, quite the contrary. Pretty much every woman I have had in my life has explicitly told me that they enjoy cooking for and satisfying the men in their life, both sexually and otherwise. In fact, if you must know, I've had a woman explicitly look me in the eyes and tell me that, and I quote, "Even though I consider myself a feminist, when I'm with you I feel like I just want to submit to you." So what does that mean exactly? I'm going to take this thesis a step further. If the woman that you're currently seeing has such a hysterical reaction to submitting to you, and adamantly refuses to sleep with you or bake you cookies or whatever, maybe you're the problem, and not her. After all, if I'm capable of banging the feminism out of somebody, I don't see why you can't. Some of you are probably saying something along the lines of, "But the women in Russia, Brazil, Thailand, Philippines, wherever, are more likely to cook for me. Their culture has not been corrupted by feminism." And I'm sure that's true to some extent. But again, if you're the sort of dorky keyboard alpha male that goes around saying all women are like that, there are no good women, with regards to female hypergamy and wanting to sleep with Chad, then shouldn't it also logically follow that most women are also like that when it comes to wanting to submit to a strong masculine patriarchy? If you can provide it, of course. In other words, why is it that women are purely emotional hamsters, according to the whiny beta male, when it comes to lusting after Chad? And I am, of course, going to ignore how the angry beta male himself probably lusts after Chad. Why is it that they suddenly become shrewd and businesslike when it comes to not choosing your dumbass to sleep with? Personally, I do indeed think that women and men have biological imperatives that the overwhelming majority would be following if they didn't have shrieking feminist yentos telling them otherwise. And I will always maintain, based on my own experience, that if a woman sees you as a strong, masculine alpha male, she will want to be barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen, just for you. Not anyone else, just the man that she loves. A real man doesn't need to force the woman to be in a kitchen with violence or put her in a burqa or something like that. Despite the stereotype of the sheik with 10 wives or whatever, the majority of men in the Middle East don't have that. They're actually pretty goddamn beta. Look at how much porn they consume. But no, through sheer force of strong yet benevolent patriarchy, the woman in your life will submit to you willingly and genuinely be happy doing so, happier than she would ever be doing the feminist routine. Okay, the point that I'm trying to get at here with all this rambling is, if you cannot induce those feelings in an American woman, or at least convince an Ameriskank to give you a casual roll in the hay, then why the hell would you assume you would be a stud somewhere else? I hate to break it to you, but the girls in the Philippines, Ukraine, Brazil, Colombia, wherever, they're not going to sploosh over your mumbling, boring, hunched-over beta simp routine just because you're white or rich or whatever. I mean, you'll probably get a couple of curiosity bangs, but you're not going to get the submissive housewife you think you will get. In fact, you're probably going to get scammed. And here's something that I rarely see addressed by anybody, but I think it bears pointing out. Considering that your average beta male has spent most of his life in America, Canada, Western Europe, wherever, getting clowned and getting metaphorically, or sometimes literally, kicked in the dick by everybody in his life, and yes, I have never been afraid to admit that I am something of an ex-beta male, and thus my childhood and teenage years largely consisted of such. So what do you think is going to happen to the said beta male when the men of Brazil, Russia, or the Philippines get a little angry about him trying to turn their country into his own open-air brothel? From what I know of anthropology, where tribal interlopers taking the women is often seen as the greatest of insults, it ain't gonna be pretty. So what was the point of this rant? This article was not intended to say you can only stay in your own country and have sex with your own women. Rather, I wanted to say, if nothing else, get some practice in your homeland before you try sex tourism, to truly get the best out of your sex trip and maybe find that something resembling pussy paradise. Because if you can get American women, those nasty, castrating harridans, to fulfill their womanly duties, then obviously just imagine what you can do with foreign women. They'll obviously be willing to go to the moon and back to serve you, right? I'm Larson Halleck. There's some food for thought. Keep on training. And now, a word from our sponsors. Hello, are you a fan of Larson Halleck and the Barbaric Gentleman? Of course you are, otherwise you wouldn't be watching. Would you like to help the channel grow? Would you like to help me out? If so, here's how you can. You can go to patreon.com/Larson Halleck and join the ranks of these illustrious heroes. You can also go to www.paypal.me/Larson Halleck to also donate some money. You can also buy my book. The Patreon, the PayPal, and the link to my book are all found in the video description. You can also follow me on Twitter or on Instagram. I no longer advertise my Gab because Gab sucks. Otherwise, enjoy, keep watching the videos, and spread the word.